You're listening to a Roddenberry podcast.
Is this thing on? Does it work?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
It works!
All
oh my
right.
gosh!
All right.
Thank goodness. Okay, it's been a while, but it's 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern on a Monday night, and if you're here and we're here, that means it's time for Mission Log Live. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Charlynn Schmiedt.
And I'm Ashley Thomas. Tonight, we are talking about Star Trek Lower Decks Season 5, premiering this Thursday on Paramount+. We want to hear from all of you out there and your thoughts on this animated show. Your favorite memories from the last 4 seasons, what you hope will happen in Season 5, and all your hopes and dreams. Let's hear it all. Click the Zoom link or give us a call at 669-900-6833. Again, that number is 669-900-6833, or click on the Zoom link.
Now, while Earl gets the party started, while I figure out how to do words, he's going to get the Earl Green Room ready and line up our callers. Let's say hi to the folks who are joining us in the chat. So let's say hi to Dave Taylor, Jen McMahon, Alan Simonis. I hope I'm saying that properly. David Takechi, hello. Heather Ray Barker, hello. A lot of our friends from the Mission Log Discord here. Good to see you all. And Jane Storella, Jessica Lynn Verdi, hello. Good to see you all. Hello, Spencer. Very nice of you all to join us tonight. Thank you so much. Now, before we get started, we have to officially welcome you, Ashley, because this is your first Mission Log Live. Now, it might be your first time on this show, but you are no stranger to the network, and I hope folks recognize at least your voice from the fantastic work that you and Earl have been doing on Genealogy. But just in case they don't, would you please tell everybody about Genealogy, what else you do, where people can find you, all that good stuff?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, thank you all so much for having me on. And so for those of you who may not know who I am, I'm Ashley Thomas. I'm the co-host of Mission Log Genealogy alongside the indomitable Earl Green. Now, if folks haven't listened to that, it's all about Gene Roddenberry's pre-Star Trek TV writing. So please go check it out. I'm having a great time working with Earl on that, getting to do some homework on classic television and Gene's role in that. So that's been really cool. Now, if you bandy about on the internet, I'm usually under The Nerdy Blogger. That is my handle on all my socials, except for Instagram. Some Mirror Universe version of me grab that handle there. So you can find me there as Ash the Thomas instead. But in terms of my other work at Roddenberry, I was a script writer on another Roddenberry podcast, Sci-Fi 5. Did that for a couple of years. And by day, I'm a freelance writer and podcaster. I'm a staff writer at fangirlish.com, where I cover all the current Star Trek shows, films, news, and I also write other film and television reviews there as well. I'm a co-host on 3 other podcasts besides Mission Log Genealogy. 2 of those podcasts are on the Film Stories Network. The first one is about Star Trek. It's called We Are Starfleet. And the second is a Marvel podcast called Podcast 616. That is podcast-616. My other show is a round-robin movie recommendation show called The Video Store Podcast, and you can check that out at videostorepodcast.com. Now, that's my day job. By night, I am a DJ, trivia, music bingo, and karaoke host. My DJ handle is I'm DJ Live Long and Party. And I'm available for parties, really anywhere. So holler at your girl if you need a nerdy/sassy DJ. But
amazing.
I think that answers all your questions, Shar, right?
Yeah. Wow. And you are busy. Wow.
Yeah, I am.
My goodness.
Listen, you're a freelancer. You got to pay the bills.
I know that loud and clear. Yes, me too. Well, let's also tell the folks tuning in about what's happening elsewhere in the Roddenberry podcast universe this week. Now, Ashley, you talked a little bit about Genealogy. So would you do the honors and tell us about the episode of Genealogy that's dropping this week?
Sure. This week on Genealogy, Earl and I opened up the Hotel Carlton mailbag. We looked at some emails, comments, and feedback that we've gotten from our Discord server and Facebook, and that we've received on our coverage of Have Gun Will Travel, which is one of the shows that Gene Roddenberry wrote for the most in the late 50s and early 60s. And that episode actually just dropped today, Monday. So please be sure to check it out.
Right on. Tomorrow, my podcast that I co-host with Marina Kravchuk is going to drop, and we are finishing up Ascension with part 2, and that's on Mission Log Prodigy. How about Mission Log this week, Ashley? What's going on there?
On Thursday, Ben Harrison from the Greatest Generation podcast joins John for Voyager's Warhead.
Another great podcast, Greatest Gen. Fantastic. And then finally, circling back to next Monday, Mission Log Live will be back to discuss the first episode of season 5 of Lower Decks. Yay. And if you are wondering if we're going to circle back to season 4 because that aired last year during the strikes, the answer is yes. Stay tuned. We're making plans for the future.
Follow all of our shows at podcasts.roddenberry.com and make sure to also like and subscribe to our content here on YouTube at youtube.com/Roddenberry Entertainment. And why not? You're already here.
Yeah, why not? So, with all of that said, how about we share a little bit of Star Trek Lower Decks hype? Ashley, are you a big fan of Star Trek Lower Decks? I'm assuming you are by the background.
I love me some Lower Decks, Char. I really do.
Too. Yeah. I absolutely adore this show. Going in, I wasn't sure because Star Trek has not always done comedy terribly well, but this show changed my mind from the get-go, and it's right up there as an all-time favorite. It is comfort food. It's my mac and cheese when I need to escape and laugh and have a good time. Any episode of Lower Decks will do. I don't care which one it is. It's all good. How are you feeling about this being the last season, at least on Paramount Plus?
I was bummed, and that's the light way to say it. I was quite bummed when I heard that this was potentially the last season, or at least as it stands now, it is going to be the last season. So that's
right. I don't think we're completely done yet. The way streaming is working these days, I feel like it could find another home. We could potentially get like a movie or more episodes. Who knows?
I mean, let us pray. I really would love some more Lower Decks. I think it has been one of the best surprises to come out of this new generation of Star Trek shows.
I agree with that. Hardcore. It's a love letter to Star Trek and does so in the most fantastic way by making light of it. It's the in-jokes. It's the little things they throw in the background. It's all those little references where if you know, you know. And for those of us who do know, it's a fun activity just to try and catch them all. It's sort of like Pokemon, I guess, although I don't do Pokemon. But, but they throw all that in. And honestly, as long as Mike McMahon would like to continue making the show, let's let him.
Please.
And as long as our voice actors want to keep voicing their characters, let them. They're beautiful. They're brilliant. They're wonderful. Did you happen to catch any of the New York Comic Con stuff over the weekend?
A little bit of it. I'm actually working on a write-up now for Fangirlish, so that will drop a little later this week. But on Friday, I was fortunate enough to participate in a roundtable interview with our 4 main cast. And it was just I was in there with 7 other journalists. The sheer joy in that room was just incredible. Our 4 mains, this is my first time getting to interview them, and they just have such a great energy. They're all in one room together, and they were just feeding off of each other. It was really a wonderful experience.
That is really awesome. Well, we're going to have to look for that when it comes out. And you lucky you got to talk to them all.
I know. I mean, it's a roundtable interview. I got to ask one question, but I got to ask a question to Noelle, and she, because she plays my girl Tendi. So.
Oh, awesome. Now, do you have any predictions on what's going to happen with Tendi? Because we left on a heck of a cliffhanger at the end of season 4.
Oh, gosh. I want to see more of Orion. I think Tendi's got some stuff she's got to work through there. She's got to reconcile her Orion pirate upbringing and who she is as a Starfleet person. I think we got a little bit of that in the last season, but I think I want some more exploration of that idea.
Good call. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't feel like we're done with that yet. There's
Yeah.
still
I
some
don't
room
think
to
so.
go.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it took an animated series to get us to Orion, and really, we got more Orion lore in Lower Decks than really anywhere else.
Yeah. Yeah. We really did. And I know some folks are like, is Lower Decks actually canon? I was like, yes, it's canon.
Yes, it is.
So enjoy. We're getting lots of cool new canon, lots of I mean, we're exploring strange new worlds, if you will. Maybe not new
Uh-huh.
worlds, but we're actually getting visuals on things that we'd only heard about before, and I think that is really awesome.
Yes, maybe strange worlds that we've heard of before.
Yeah, strange. Mm, I don't.
Strange, semi-familiar worlds. It doesn't have the
Yeah,
good ring.
it doesn't quite roll off the tongue, I'm afraid.
No, there's a description somewhere. We're gonna have to workshop this.
Do
But
you have any predictions, real quick,
prediction.
Shar?
Oh golly. You know what? I do wonder if somebody is going to leave the ship before the season is over.
Mm.
I don't know who, I don't know why. I just have a feeling. And that's all I know. I've not seen screeners or anything. This is just an out of the blue kind of a thing where to give it some sense of finality, there is going to be some sort of sad goodbye element to it. And I'm going to love and hate it at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll see what happens.
Indeed, for the next 10 weeks, we are going to have a good time. And joining us with a good time is one of our fantastic regulars here. Let's welcome Alan to the show. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, it is good to be back on a Monday night with Mission Log. Shar, it's great to see you. Ashley, it's great to meet you.
As well.
Yeah, what a great night and a great opportunity to uh, talk about Lower Decks, which is, I've said this before on this show. This is the show that got me signed up for CBS All Access when it was CBS All Access. So this is my bread and butter show for new Star Trek at least at this point.
You
So
hear that,
I'm
Paramount
excited to have
Plus?
it back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, one last hurrah. What are you thinking as we go into this last season, Alan?
Well, I was listening to kind of what you guys were just talking about in terms of uh, we'll call them strange new to you worlds of Star Trek.
I okay,
That's
I like that.
better.
I like that better. That's good.
Me
There we
too.
go. That's something that I've really come to appreciate about this show is that, the fact that it's animated means that they can do anything. They can go anywhere, they can do anything. It's just a matter of how crazy do you want to get? And so if we could continue to go to new places and do new things, that would make me very happy. More Orion, more Ferenginar, the stuff that we got with Tendi and Rutherford last year on Ferenginar was amazing. Yeah, just more of everything, please. And I know that for a while it sort of got pegged as the show that does references, and I think it will continue to do that. I suspect we're going to get like an Enterprise episode based on some of the stuff that we've seen, but I just like it to continue being its own thing too, and not just the reference show.
Certainly. I mean, it really has grown into its own thing. It might have started off as the reference
Yeah.
show, but as they develop their own storylines, Lower Decks is its own corner of the universe now. At least that's how I see it. Now, how about some favorite memories from the first four seasons? Is there anything that really stands out just right away to you?
Well, I love the Klingon D&D simulator. That was awesome. I don't think I don't think I've laughed at anything as hard as I laughed at the reappearance of the Mark Twain joke last year. That's like all-time top Star Trek stuff, because it's just goofy and silly, but it has its own internal logic that sort of works for the joke. So just stuff like that. Um, uh, those are sort of happy memories of like funny stuff, but it also sort of strikes me how emotional the show can get. Like, in the first movie parody episode where we sort of learn I think that's when we start cracking the nut on Mariner in terms of what her deal is. And just, there's something very sort of emotionally prescient about someone casting themselves as the villain in their own story and what that means for her. And, maybe in terms of wrapping things up, I do hope that we get sort of like good emotional closure for all of our characters too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
yes,
leave them
definitely.
in a good place.
Right. Yeah. Can we go for like the heartwarming ending, not the total heartbreaking, oh my God, everything is going to die and it's terrible. And no, I don't think Lower Decks could do that to
Nah.
us. No. No. And especially if we do want to leave the door open for potentially more.
I will take that. I'll take the door open. I
Yeah.
mean, if they can, I have thoughts about the decision to make Section 31 a streaming show or a streaming movie. But if we can get Lower Decks movies every couple of years, I'll be
Right?
happy with that.
Same. That would be wonderful. That'd be
That
something really cool to look forward to.
that would be a fair consolation prize. I would take that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. Plus, then the voice actors, they can go off and work on other projects. Like Tawny Newsome is developing another Star Trek show, and I know Jack Quaid is very busy.
Yeah, he's
But
in
that they can make
everything.
room for this. That'd be pretty cool. Now, I think you mentioned Tenderford a little bit.
I
So I
ship them
have
so
to ask you
hard.
both. Okay, that answers the question.
Sorry,
You ship them. Okay, 'cause I saw the
jump in the
heart.
phaser on that one, if you will. But I ship them so hard. Yes,
Okay,
please.
any bold predictions on where that might go this season?
Oh my gosh. I don't think it's a bold prediction to say I hope they get together. I hope they
Okay.
figure out. I mean, because that episode that you mentioned, Alan, about their the one on Ferenginar, Parth Ferengi's Heart Place, I think is the name of the episode. Where they're having to be a fake couple and they're realizing, oh, I actually feel these things about you, and this is making me have feelings that I'm not prepared to discuss. It was sweet and wonderful, and I'm just like, huh. Like I am not good at stereotypical girl things, but I will ship the crap out of like this kind of stuff. So yes, give me more Rutherford and Tindy, please and thank you.
Yeah,
Alan, how about you?
I I go back and forth about whether I actually see them as a shippable couple or not. I do sort of like the idea of them as sort of like platonic besties who just understand each other in a way that is sort of beyond sort of a romantic type of relationship. On the other hand, why not? It's Star Trek. We can have whatever we want.
Well, I will split the difference with you both and say it could go either way. I think it's all just about how it would happen, where I'd get either maybe be really into it or, you know what, that's okay. I'm good.
You don't want it to be like go too far and to be too on the nose, because then, I think half the fun of any sort of, shipping type scenario, it's like Christmas morning. The presents are all there, they're all wrapped, but you don't know what's inside them. You can imagine what's inside them and how it would be, and that's almost more fun than actually having the thing. So
Yeah, it's true.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Dom in the chat mentions more Billups aceness, and I'm really here for that angle. That they went for that on Lower Decks, and let's see more of his homeworld, his family. Like it's a
Oh
crazy
yeah,
situation. There's a whole lot more to go there.
I
those
mean,
crazy fantasy ships, absolutely.
it's
That was
it's
fun.
Rinfest season over here. I was like, I want to go to the Rinfest and see somebody cosplaying Billup's planet, like
There you
people from
go.
Billup's planet.
Yes,
Just
okay, that sounds like a really big, good group cosplay for the next Star Trek Las Vegas. I'm just going to put that out there.
let's do it. Let's do it.
You all have a good time. I'm not crafty.
Well, I'm not
I'll be
either. I'm not
admiring from
either.
afar.
Says the soap maker. Come on, you're crafty.
That's what I do. Yeah, as far as clothes go, I can't stitch or anything. I would probably just stitch my own hand and put a bunch of holes in it. So nobody needs that. Well, Alan, any other thoughts that you want to throw out there about Lower Decks coming up here?
Just that like I said, I'm just super excited to get back to what may be our last run with these characters. That I don't know, they're my crew. They're my homies. I love all of them. I'm so excited to see what is in store for them in season 5, and fingers crossed for the for whatever possibilities may come in the future.
Well
So
said. Well, thank you so much, Alan, for
yeah,
joining us tonight. Really good to see you. Thanks for helping us kick off our pre-show tonight.
it
And I'm sure
is
many more to come.
it is absolutely an honor and a privilege to get to come on Mission Log whenever it's available. So it's the feeling is mutual always. So
It does feel good to be back, doesn't it?
yeah.
Oh, yes, my heart is so full right now. All right. Well, thank you so much, Alan. How about we hop over to our next caller in line? Let's say hello to another regular to this show, Mr. Paul Harveth.
Hello,
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 sir.
Hi,
hello.
Paul.
Oh my word, Ashley in person, you know nothing about me, but I listen to you and Earl
Oh
talk
my
every week,
gosh.
and it's like,
Thank you.
huh, how unfair is this?
Oh, well, thank you so much, Paul. I appreciate that. I did get to talk with you briefly one time. I called into Mission Log Live like, ooh, gosh, at the end of Disco season 3. And you and I were in the room together at the same time. So you're like, you called in before, right? And I'm like, no. I'm like, deer in headlights. But no, it was good. It was good. So I'm glad to talk with you again.
It's awesome. I'm not sure. I hope I left a good impression.
Oh, you did. You did. I remembered you. It was like Paul has a very excellent mustache. So
Oh yeah, tonight it looks a little offset, but that's okay. Shar, it's always great to see you. We've shared
You as
some
well.
incredible times in Vegas and online, and most Thursday nights on the Discord. If you're
After
out there
dark,
and you're
baby.
if you're lurking here, you need to join that Discord. It's something special. It's
Yeah,
really
we
something
will talk
special.
about that more at about the halfway mark.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Talin. We haven't talked about Talin.
We got to talk about Talin.
we got to talk
Yes,
Gabriel.
about
let's.
Talin.
Oh my
What are
word.
your
My
thoughts?
my wife and I got to meet Gabrielle Ruiz in Nashville, and we had an extended period of time with her because the con was, sort of moderately attended, and it's one of those rare opportunities to actually go up and talk to these people. And she's just such an effervescent, amazing, actress and representative for the Trek show, particularly. Oh my God, Vulcan as what comes after is what she signs her pictures as. And she's just so invested into the character, and to hear her say these things live, it just sort of, ooh, that's just awesome. So my question to you guys is, what kind of homework do you do? I mean, we've been away here for like a year. Did you
Hmm.
do just last season? Did you do 2 and 3? How much of it have you done? Had you do any homework for this?
Ashley, how about you?
Define homework as in going back
How many
watching.
previous seasons have you watched
Oh, of
recently? Yeah,
recently?
let's go within
Oh
the past three
gosh.
months.
I'm pretty sure like I put it on in the background a few months ago and kind of plowed through everything all over again. I think Lower Decks for me is something that's just infinitely rewatchable.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's incredible.
Yeah.
I completely agree. I watched the whole show a few months ago, and then to prep for the premiere on Thursday, I've been going through season 4 again just to refresh.
Okay, so we've spent the past week or so going through 4, and I don't know if you have the DVDs, if you're lucky enough to have those, the special, um, they have the extra, right? And there's
Oh yeah.
this Mike McMahon's explanation of season 4 with the two TNG episodes, First Duty and Lower Decks. It pretty much brought me to tears when he brought back the Cedo actress to voice. And
Oh my gosh, yes.
it's just, if you don't have that, if you haven't seen it, find a way to look for that added feature on the DVDs because it is priceless. It's
Wow.
his passion for the show, the effort they went through to find this actress who's now a nurse who takes care of cancer patients. She funded her way through college with her acting gigs, and that was her
Huh.
second ever. Oh, it's just amazing, and just brings you back into how much Trek means to you, right? It just amazing. Not that you can tell it means anything to me with Tandy looking at my shoulder in a card shirt. And,
No.
you
You're
know,
a Trek fan, Paul? I never
No
and a
idea.
few other
got that from
esoteric
you.
weird things like, I don't know, some artwork, and I don't know. It's good to be a sci-fi fan,
It
particularly.
is. And that is the best advertisement for getting the physical discs that I have heard.
Legit.
Yeah, it's
Yo.
you need to do it. So the Tendi to Erica thing should be interesting. How they're going to resolve that? Are they going to have are they going to fist fight? Are they going to? I don't know. Tendi's going to come out ahead of that. We don't know how. I would be sad if they offed any of these people. I don't know if Mike
Yes.
has it in him. He's developed these characters so well. It would be really sad. Um, I hope not, but it's what it is. Some shows do that. A little bit more on the Ryan backstory is it's so intriguing, isn't it? This hierarchical kind of society where she was an assassin. I mean, what's that all about? The pirates and all. It's just sort of fun.
Yeah. And she kind of really wants to distance herself from that. She doesn't want that life, but she gets dragged back into it over and over in season 4 because of familial obligation.
I can't wait. We are both so geek, particularly in, based on this quadrennial crap we're going through right now. And we'll put all that behind us and we'll finish the season strong. So I got to tell you though, there are two things that stand out for me in the previous episodes, right? In all the seasons. One is the collector guy, right?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
As my wife and I are collectors of stuff, like Star Trek props and costumes and things, and it just sort of resonates. I mean, that guy was a little freaky, granted, but I know collectors like that.
Uh-huh.
And you just sort of, he knows where to push the right cues to get you involved, and it's like, oh, I know what that's about. Even at my elevated age versus his target audience, it's just a tremendous, tremendous show. But
It is.
the one show that we may theme a party on this, historic Bozeman, period.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Let's
Yeah,
do
that
it.
was an instant classic. And I have a t-shirt that says Bozeman Phoenixes on it because of that whole thing. So you mentioned the collector guy. Anybody else you want to see come back possibly in season 5, Paul?
I just want Rutherford to have a good ending. There's so many characters when you're into it, and I don't know about coming back. You mean like Lower Decks characters?
Yeah, like people we've seen in previous seasons, not necessarily regular characters. Like, badgies come back every now and again. Would you want to see Moopsy again
Well,
or things like that?
my heart's set on more Stevens time because he's the only guy who looks like me that I can cosplay. I mean,
Okay.
it's just I have the Stevens costume. It's like you can't get enough Stevens.
Yeah, I have a feeling he'll be back. I think
I
we'll
think
see him again.
I think we had enough of Peanut Hamper. Moopsy was pretty interesting. I can never get enough of Jeffrey Combs though. The
Yes.
Who can? Who can? Not the Star Trek
Right?
fandom.
Yeah, where is the episode where everybody is voiced by Jeffrey Combs? Why has that not been done yet?
Oh, that would be funny.
I mean, if any show to do it, it would be Lower Decks. So I really wonder, like, you know how occasionally they'll have that one really off the wall episode a season, and it's normally gone to Peanut Hamper, but what if it's the Jeffrey Combs showcase?
I'd take
Yeah,
that.
he could wire himself into all the computers and be the voice of all of them at once or something. Oh
Mm.
man.
Or just like we're in the holodeck and every single character that Jeffrey Combs has ever played in Star Trek is there.
Oh, that's
that-
really brilliant.
I like that idea.
That would be fun.
Me too.
I wouldn't put him past him. And if you're in New Jersey in the next few weeks and you get a chance to see him perform with his the Star Trek Rat Pack,
Oh,
do yourself
yeah.
a favor and go see that in
Okay.
person. They got a CD out now that's just of their show with it's fantastic. He's just such a class act, and that would be fun. The musical episode needs to be Jeffrey Combs. That's what we got to have.
Love that. Love that. Hey, Paul, you mentioned regional conventions a little bit earlier, like Nashville, and then New Jersey is coming up. And the fact that you can actually have a little more access to the people who are attending as guests there. Is there anybody in the future that you have not met that you would like to meet at a convention like that?
I was just thinking the Encino actress, and her name escapes me right now, but I don't know that she did Vegas last year. She can you imagine if she showed up in Vegas and I mean the line to her table would never stop
It'd
because
be nuts.
yeah,
She'd be floored.
she got out of I think that's a very interesting actress. I was just taken back by Gabrielle. She was just so amazing. And I did get to ask got to ask the actress who's our lead actress here?
Tawny Newsome?
Tawny Newsome. I asked her on stage, it's like, okay, what's the difference between you and your character? And she goes, not much.
I've had the pleasure of meeting her. She and Beckett Mariner are pretty much one and the same, and in all the best ways.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way she described it. So, we've been to so many conventions that I think we've found most of the people we want to meet, but those unique ones, the B actors in the, who tuck them ways in the corner that
deep cuts.
Yeah. And you get to talk to them. It's not like, some people got like 12 seconds and they sign their thing and there's your 60 or 80 or $100 gone. When you can spend $40 and talk to, somebody from Disco or somebody from Strange New Worlds, who was one of the, there's some amazing talent and they'll share their passions with you. So if you can get to a con, do yourself a favor and get out there and try. And even at the Comic Cons, like locally in Seattle, they're having the entire Strange New Worlds cast. So it's not just Vegas. So
No, Vegas is like the daddy of them all, but really, it's nice that Creation is doing more of these regional conventions because not everybody can get to Vegas, but maybe they can get to a place that's a little closer to their home. Or maybe it's the affordability, because it's not just the ticket. It's also the travel. It's also the food. It's maybe gas to drive or a flight, depending on how you're getting there. It's all of those things and then some. So it's, I get that. I get that hardcore. There's been years where I've wanted to go and flat out couldn't just because of finances. So
one thing to do is join here, get on the Discord. We have a chat room on Wednesdays that's basically called Con Tiki, where we talk about those things and try to get across what our experiences are about conventions and attending and who we've seen lately. And we're going to get a great report from New York Comic Con from one of your co-hosts, Marina.
Oh, Marina.
Yay,
Hey, yes, that's right.
Marina.
She was there and she did a lot of things.
She always does. Yeah.
Yeah, she really knows how to work those things. So I look forward to hearing about all of that. And hey, Paul, do you mind sticking around while we do our little ad break?
Sure.
Because we're going to talk about the folks who subscribe to the Mission Log Patreon, and the Discord is one of those perks. And you're you're very present there, and you do the Kon-Tiki. So what are some of the things that people could look forward to if they join our Patreon and join the Discord?
So you name it, we have it, right? You have deep cut kind of discussions on all sorts of things, right? So we have one gentleman who goes into the Orville, has sponsored, many weekly sessions with the Orville. But right now, you and Norm were and still are. You still continue to do Babylon 5.
Yes.
We have Kon-Tiki. We have After Dark, which is absolutely some of the greatest friends you will develop, and you didn't even know you needed in your life or wanted, but all of a sudden you're in this group of people with similar, just passion for Star Trek. And I don't mean just, oh yeah, I cursorily watch it or I've seen an episode 2 or 3 times. These are people who will rewatch it and listen to people talk about what they just rewatched, take notes on it. And then we will all meet on Thursday nights to discuss an episode. And last week was so amazing. The Voyager episode about time travel, where
relativity, yeah.
There's a question I needed answered. And lo and behold, we have a gentleman who's a scientist who's actually had things launched into space talk to us about why we should not be able to travel in time, as how we perceive it, right? Who has that discussion, or where can you have that discussion? We also talk about all sorts of things associated with shows, but every episode, and we've been doing this now for a few years, so come on in. It's $1 a month.
Right? Yeah.
Discord's...
Yeah, it's a very good value for what you get. There's always a live chat happening almost every single day of the week now. The community is vibrant, and we really do talk about everything. I mean, from food to, of course, our sci-fi TV shows, all of our favorites. We, of course, have Tribulations, where we post all of the cat photos and so much more. And Ashley, you're on the Discord as well. What are some of the things that you dig?
I think one of the first things that I noticed when I joined the Discord server was, one, I felt like I was in an episode of Cheers. And, there's this whole theory about Cheers actually being a holodeck simulation. I think if we have the Discord version of that, it's the Mission Log Discord, because I joined in and everybody's like, Ashley's here. Ah! And so I got bombarded with a bunch of messages. And it was really exciting. I felt very welcome among the group. But there's a lot of different places where you can plug in. I love the Tribulations thread because I love seeing pictures of everybody's critters. You can see pictures of my cats. I have 2 kitty cats, and they're very cute. So everybody needs to see those.
Yes.
If you like to cook, or if you go to fancy restaurants, or if you go to not fancy restaurants, there's the Epicureanism thread where you can share whatever food you are making and or enjoying. I really enjoy doing that because I like to cook. And I like to make cocktails. Mr. Nerdy Blogger got me the Star Trek cocktails book for Christmas a few years ago, and it was all downhill from there. Like, after that, there was a very expensive trip to the liquor store, and I'm just like, I have to make all the cocktails in this book. And so I need to get back to doing that again because I enjoy doing it. So got to share some of those in the Discord. There's just all kinds of places where you can check in, and we talk about more than just Star Trek. There's a lot of folks there that are into James Bond. There's a whole James Bond discussion, the Babylon 5 discussion that you mentioned. There's a Marvel thread. I host a Marvel podcast. I feel very strongly about Marvel. Under my Star Trek cardigan, I'm wearing a Marvel t-shirt drawn by a Marvel artist. So that is really fun. There's just all kinds of stuff. So no matter your interest besides Star Trek, I think there's a lot of cool places to connect there on the Discord server. And you get to meet the friends that you hear here on the podcast. You get to talk with your podcast hosts like me and Shar and Earl and John and Norm and Leah. There's everybody's there.
All of us. We're all pretty much all there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. So definitely worth checking out.
Jane. Go ahead, Paul.
If I can add one more thing. Oh yeah.
Yeah, go.
We have a dear friend who comes on Thursday nights who's detailed and note-taking and opinionated, and not ever in a bad way. It's just we communicate well. But Dom has he put it right here in writing. The reason I found this, and I think it was invented, was through COVID. We were all sort of locked up and going crazy, and when this happened and we started meeting people with like interest, and then it combined with Mission Log Live, and then these, we listen to Ashley and Earl and John and his current co-hosts and Shar when you're doing Prodigy, and all of a sudden, now it's here we are live, right? But the what it did for so many people through COVID and the friends you create. I've actually driven around parts of the country to go find friends. So Jane, who's in the chat right now, we found her. She was driving through the middle of the Midwest, and we met her there.
Yeah,
Alan
shout out to
Simonis.
Jane.
Yeah, Alan challenged all of us one night and says, "Hey, come to Trek Fest in Iowa City, just south of Riverside, Iowa." Right?
That's right.
I
he
drove
did.
there. And I've been there twice. Paul Wright, who's there, couldn't order a certain kind of booze through Star Trek Wines, who's a sponsor, and we wanted this stuff. So he ordered them, or I ordered them, and I drove down there and delivered them.
Yeah, and we got to see the photo on the Discord.
Yeah, and in Columbus, we've met up with a few folks. The first official gathering for the Discord folks was in Chicago. And we've had 3 since in Vegas, some knockdown, just amazing parties, just time together in person because we've forged these friendships through the Discord and this community. It's something that you just can't put a value on it. But there are times like Wednesday nights, like last week, this time of year, every 4 years, gets very stressful for a lot of people. And you can get together online and just chat about stuff. Help me out here. Give me some rationalizations. And I can't thank my Discord friends enough for that. And the opportunity that's been presented us here through Mission Log and Discord has just been amazing. So I want to shout out, you need to be on here. If you're listening, there's an international group that meets early Sunday morning for us, but they get together. Yeah, just give it it's worth it. Just
give it a shot. Yeah, it's a great group of people with a lot of a big diversity of opinions, like you said, but not without all of the internet, boom, bonk, 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 bonk arguments devolve on everywhere else on the internet. That does not really happen on our Discord, and when it does, it gets put to a stop pretty fast because we all love each other in the end of the day. And so, we find ways to make that work out, and we have a good time. So if you need some escapism, this is a great place to do it. If you want to come join us, go to patreon.com/missionlog. On top of the Discord, you get early access to some of the shows on our network, plus other perks. So it's well worth your contribution. It helps supports our shows, keeps the lights on. So that means a lot to those of us who are doing that sort of thing.
Yes, please. Thank you.
I certainly am not getting paid, and I certainly didn't expect to do a commercial for it, but that was all
you
genuine
did a really
love.
Good job.
Just genuine love for my friends who are here and wanting to support the network, and looking forward to Lower Decks and seeing as we go forward, and just really looking forward to having this back for us. A little Mission Log Live actually always makes the week start well. So
yeah,
great pleasure to see you both in person. I know we have someone else in the waiting room with a great beard. He's got a better beard than I do. I might have a good.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Paul, and for doing our Mission Log Discord commercial. You did a fantastic job. We really appreciate you. Take care, buddy.
So much, Paul.
See you guys.
All right, let's say hi to Mark, who has been waiting in the Earl Green room for some time now. Thank you, sir, for waiting. How are you?
I'm good, Sharon. Yourself?
Very good. Very nice to see you. What are you thinking as we are about to get into more Lower Decks?
Well, I must admit I'm behind. I haven't watched season 4. I got quite busy last year, so I missed it. So problems of writing a master's thesis and then doing a ton of work is you're kind of busy. So I only slowly started catching up on things and other things. So I'm slowly coming out of it, but I'm looking forward to it. I also think Lower Decks is really interesting because it takes place in that fun time zone between the end of the Dominion Wars and what we see in the flashbacks of Picard in season 1 in 2386, where they stop exploring and the Federation turns in on itself. So it's some opportunities to see them getting away from war, exploring, doing first contact, the second contact that the Cerritos does, a whole bunch of other things. And I think I it's kind of sad that it's ending at 5, but at the same time, I think they've established a beautiful ship that I want a model kit off since I'm a modeler. I want them to do the
Yes.
Cerritos just like they did in one of the episodes. I was like, I want that model kit when they were doing Quark's model kits with the reactor that came out that was plot critical later on in that particular season. When they threw, I think that must have been season 3 where they threw out the warp core. Uh, and I have an entire shelf that you guys can't see full of models, but I do have just to my corner the Enterprise A, which I built together, painted, and then I have the original Enterprise, and I have a Katanga class battlecruiser behind there that I all painted. So I really want a Cerrito so I can add it to my collection because there's nothing quite like being able to build them and then paint them and do the decal. As we call them up here in Canada, the decals, not the decals. And
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
I thought that was a robot that I was not familiar with. Like, sounded like a combination of a Dalek and something else, but a decal.
yeah,
I like it.
The
we
decals, yeah.
yeah, decals. We use the Queen's language up here. I guess the King's now. So
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, yeah.
though we do have 3,000 words in the Canadian language unique to our own language, separate from the UK and Canada. So just
Very
random.
interesting.
Yes, random
Okay.
fact.
Things
Today
did
I
not know.
learned they
Yes,
say decals in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's decals. Yeah, and then of course I loved your just to go back to your promo you did. I on the Discord, of course, just before the lead on Discord, I was just doing Bondatory today, where we looked at Spectre, and next week we do No Time to Die, and it's quite fun because when we started doing when Mission Log was last live for Discovery season 4 or 5, I can't remember now. So whatever the last season of Discovery was, it's just when
5.
I had started up doing Bondatory, and now we're finishing it, and then we'll be doing Battlestar Galactica.
Hey,
Nice.
look at that. Look at that.
Love that.
Very nice.
It's not quite as impressive of all 25 Bond movies I have, but here's all the content for the Mission Log Discord for the Battlestar Galactica
Wow.
content.
Love
Dude's
that.
come
will be
prepared. Love that.
doing it. Well, that will be doing in starting in December. But yeah, you asked in the past the other people who were on that had a favorite episode.
Yeah, what's yours?
I actually really loved getting to see the one where they were doing the contact where you got to see the Excelsior class captained by Gomez.
Yeah, Sonia Gomez.
Yeah.
Where she came back, but they so you got to see a new class of ship. That was it. The successor ship to the Excelsior class, and the Excelsior class happens to be my favorite ship in Star Trek.
Okay.
I've always had a thing for the Excelsior class. I don't know why. I just have. So it was fun to see that one, and then of course taking all the armor plating off of the Cerritos to get through the field was like I think really a neat way showing their problem solving and other things. And then
So cool.
yeah, well, and then of course the first episode where you deal with zombies. So way back in season 1, brought on by traveling to strange new planets and other things, and not always being able to catch when something happens, which is a nice callback to later episodes because in TNG something happened to Geordi with that of where he almost became a creature in that. So it's I love of how they build upon the dangers of space travel, but also doing it in a comedic way because that same episode, of course, we talked about Tendi, who's wearing her science blue just like I am.
Yeah.
Having to pump a human heart and not on her first day on the ship.
That's
and,
right.
No
and how
pressure,
crazy-
right?
No pressure, exactly. And the shows sometimes it's comedy, but they also throw them into pressure situation, other things where situations arise that other ships probably have faced. I could see some of the crazy stuff happening in TNG of where Nurse Ogawa in the TNG's day is having to do something similar to Riker or something that you don't see, or that just with how dangerous space travel is, and then of course it's really present as well the dangers of AI with season 3 with the Texas class, where the Texas class being
Oh, yes.
built off of Bad Eye shows the dangers of what happens when you don't always have good technology, good systems for AI in place, and how it goes crazy, and all of the California classes have to come in and save the day and overload the system. I think that was another of my favorite episodes, just showing you don't always count out ships of the Federation. They
That's
might be a class.
right.
They might be a class that isn't powerful or strong necessarily, but they're still a Federation ship. And yes, they might not have the best crew, but when they come together, they can do amazing things. And I think, that speaks well to the diversity in Star Trek, with the diversity and infinite things. And that speaks so well to that. And especially, with me being on the autism spectrum, that speaks well to me of the importance of that diversity. And start and those fast jokes. I love being able to watch an episode and then doing research of seeing what happens as well, because some of them are like classic series callbacks. And you have TNG, Deep Space Nine, Voyager might even have this season. They might have a couple of Discovery callbacks. Who knows? Maybe they'll do time travel and they'll get the give drugs to or not drugs, but the drink that carried them crazy when they went to time travel in Strange New Worlds, where they had the drink that turned all of the Strange New Worlds cast into the
Right?
cartoon in the
That would
same
be an
way.
Orion Hurricane. I have made
Yes.
one. It is delicious.
Did it turn you into a Did it turn you into a cartoon though?
I hope so. I don't think I have had a long-standing dream of becoming a cartoon character. So if anybody
Oh my
out there
gosh.
draws, just feel free, go nuts. Draw me as a cartoon. I would love that, please and thank you.
Quick question for you, Ashley.
yeah.
Is that in the cocktail book that you have?
It is not in the cocktail book. The cocktail book came out in
Okay.
end of 2020, so
Oh,
it was
okay.
not there. But I forget the name of the Twitter account. There's a Twitter account, and if I
Is
find
it the
it again,
Scorch?
yes, the Scorch. Thank you. The Scorch has been posting anytime a cocktail gets referenced in this new era of Star Trek. They've been creating a recipe, and that's where I got it from.
Yes, that's how I tried Seven of Limes.
Yes, the Seven of Limes is also quite excellent. I have done
Very
that one as
good.
well.
Very
But
good.
a word of caution. I descend from moonshiners. My dad's side of the family made moonshine during Prohibition. Fun
Nice.
fact. When you grow up in the South, that is a line of work that you can choose.
Mhm.
But anyway, so I have pretty high tolerance. My buddy, I have a Star Trek buddy. She and I split one Orion Hurricane because it was very robust. So
Ooh,
tread
okay,
with caution,
so
friends and family.
it'll get you that messed up.
Yeah. So we may have become cartoon characters and we just don't remember. So, but
Gotcha.
no, we made one serving based on that recipe and split it. So
Nice. That sounds like the right way to do it.
yeah, no, it was good. It was good though.
So, Mark, you are our last caller for the night, and I would love to know what you are hoping for or predicting will happen in season 5 coming right up.
Oh, that is a good question. There's so much they can pick and choose, but I would love to see them do the reverse episode of where the Strange New Worlds cast comes over onto a Lower Decks episode. I
That's
think
a good one.
I think that would be a fun reversal to do. However they do that, time travel shenanigans, holograms, yeah, other things, and then also I'd love to see them have to deal deal with something that uh, you know I'd love to see Future come back, and
Oh,
That
how
would be
Becca
neat.
Beckett or Tandy or the rest of them would deal with the V'ger in place of, say, in place of other characters. Personally, I think if they had V'ger brought back, the way they deal with it is that they'd send the Doctor in.
Dr. Ta'ana?
Yes,
Or the EMH?
No, the Doctor, the cat,
Okay.
Dr.
the kite, the kite. What is it? What's her species again? Kitan.
Cations,
Cation.
Yeah.
Cation's in, and she'd be able to easily defeat that. Or
she'd just swear at it and it would shut down.
A claw at it, maybe, and it stopped. Though my ultimate one I would love to see, and to tie into the show that you've been doing with Prodigy, is maybe we see a return of Wesley Crusher that helps set up the why he's in his place that he is in Prodigy. I think that'd be fun, but I'd also love them, even though it's not canon. It'd be fun if they did a mirror universe version of Wesley Crusher, like they did in Star Trek Online, of where you could see the mirror universe characters of this crew, and then have it of how that sets up the stuff in Star Trek Online, where Wesley Crusher's the Emperor and tries to merge with the mirror universe version of V'ger. But
oh my.
Yes.
That would be wild. Wow.
So that would be that would be fun.
I'm still stuck on V'ger possibly being Dr. Ta'ana's scratching post. That is a visual I can't get out of my head.
Hey, I think it'd be amazing if they did that, or a Borg invasion, or if one final last one to bring out the one that's been there. How about a Borg invasion stopped by an entire group of Moopsies?
Oh,
do you even need a whole group? I think maybe like one could do it.
Well, what about it if it's one and they overwhelm it and it becomes an assimilated Moopsie?
Okay, now that's
bone-sucking Borg. Oh my God.
I'm gonna have nightmares now. Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Really good talking with you tonight.
My job here is done.
I love it. Mark,
Well
there
done.
were a lot of folks in the chat expressing concern about the Moopsie behind you. I hope you're okay, my friend.
Yeah,
yes,
we've been worried.
I am. That's okay. I'm good.
Okay. All right. He's armed.
Nice.
Okay.
I have my Type 3 phaser rifle here.
Okay.
All right. Phew.
He's
all right.
good.
We were
He's
worried.
good.
It was lurking the whole time, just waiting to strike. And yeah.
Well, I have a tree cat from another book series over in the corner that could tear it to pieces because its claws are as sharp as obsidian. So.
Oh. Okay. Well, Moopsie is in check then.
Yes.
That's good.
All right. Very good to know.
I am safe from the Moopsie for now, but it's a constant vigilance down here. But I have enough starships down here that they have their phasers locked on the Moopsie at all time, because I have like 30 odd models down here, including for the BSG crowd, a classic base star and the classic Battlestar Galactica.
Nice.
And you can see a lot of Mark's awesome stuff on the Discord. Got to pimp that one more time.
Yeah.
Because you shared some really good stuff with us. And occasionally you break one out and show us on After Dark too.
Yes. Well, here, let me get, since Battlestar Galactica Classic is coming to our Discord in December with the So Say We All retrospective. Here's the classic BSG that I did. I put it together and
very cool.
Painted it and did all the decals/decals.
Very nice. Well, Mark, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're going to have to let you go because it is unfortunately time to wrap up. So we will see you around in the chats on our Discord and hopefully on future mission logs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, mission log lives, I mean. Doing lower decks.
Yes, I'll try my best, but I'm still a season behind, so I need to catch up on that, and getting ready for other Bond stuff, and Battlestar Galactica keeps me busy too.
That's right. Well, thank you very much for all that you do on the Discord. We'll see you around, okay?
Thanks, Mark.
All right. And with that, Ashley, I suppose we got to round out into some final thoughts, whatever we've got, and then get ourselves out of here because buffer time's over.
Buffer time is over. My goodness. That breezed on by.
It does. It
Mhm.
does.
Mhm.
Yes. So, what are you thinking as we go into the fifth season of Lower Decks? I mean, is it a little bittersweet or are you just still excited?
I am excited, but it is also bittersweet. I was admittedly a little skeptical when Lower Decks began, but by the end of the season, I was all in. And now I've gone back and rewatched Lower Decks all the way through several times, and it's such like a wonderful love letter to the Trek franchise. We've already talked about that, but uh unexpectedly has a lot of solid like emotional depth to it that I
Yeah.
really appreciate. Like there were things in season 4 that I felt like these are conversations that folks should be having with like counselors. Like
Mhm.
I think in particular Rutherford says, "You mean I can ask for things that I need?" Like a lot of people feel
Yes,
like they
buddy.
can't do that. It's like you absolutely can. And they say things like that out loud. And I love all of that so much. And uh I was talking with a friend of mine a while back, and she has 3 young boys, and she was looking for examples of positive masculinity, and and
Ah, yeah.
and she's like, where do I find that in media? And I was like, literally all the Star Trek shows that we've got going right now, but I think in particular, like Rutherford and Boimler are great examples of positive masculinity without being like
Yeah.
stereotypical dudes. Uh,
Absolutely. And they're very different people. And it's fun watching them, especially in season 4, because I very recently watched where they became roomies
yeah.
and that whole thing unfolding. And
Mhm.
yeah, great call. Great
Yeah.
call on that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think you could say that about really any of the modern Star Trek series, but Lower Decks, like shockingly emotionally poignant and has all these great examples of positive masculinity. I love every bit of that. I love that so much. So I'm really excited to see where the rest of this season goes.
Yes. I'm so excited to see our old friends back for one more round. I can't wait to
Yeah.
see what sort of who just might show up. You have no idea who's going to guest on this show because they pick from every corner. And so I'm very excited to see that. I am excited to see how they're going to wrap things up, even though I am going to be very sad. But I already know that Lower Decks is going to be one of those shows that I'll watch over and over
Yeah.
and over again. It makes me happy. And we need all the
Yeah.
happiness we can get in life. It's a big celebration of Star Trek, and what could be better than that? So, Ashley, thank you so much for joining me tonight. This was a load of fun. And thank you, everybody in the chat, for joining us. Thank you to all of our callers, Alan, Paul, Mark. And would you do the honors, Ashley, and close us out?
I certainly will. Thank you so much for having me tonight, Shar. This has been a real treat. You have been so like kind to me as I've joined the
Oh,
Mission Log podcasting host family and said so many encouraging things. And I'm a word of
oh.
affirmation person. I really appreciate it. So I was so excited to get to record with you tonight. It's been awesome.
It was a blast. I'm a big fan of what you and Earl do on genealogy. You're doing great work.
Girl, back at you, because I'm a fan of what you and Marina do too on Mission Log
Hey,
Prodigy. So
thanks.
thank you. All right, folks. Mission Log Live is produced by Roddenberry Entertainment. Technical production on Mission Log and Mission Log Live by the indispensable Earl Green. Please be sure to visit podcasts.roddenberry.com for the latest from Roddenberry Podcasts. If you would like to support Mission Log directly, please give us a look at patreon.com/missionlog.
This is a Roddenberry podcast. For more great podcasts, visit podcast.roddenberry.com.